Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Someone asked me, let me pull up for AITX. This is going to be an AITX video. Someone did ask me, hey, can you tell us what is the potential total number of RMR for AITX after August? A guesstimate. So I'm going to answer that question. I hope and pray AITX shoots up to 10 cents or higher. That's not going to happen. So I'm going to go over why that's never going to happen. That is not going to happen, and some people are going to be disappointed because I just said that. Can this go to $1 before 2026? I'm going to answer all these questions because I know people ask questions and I'm like, I don't know how to answer that. What am I supposed to say? Yes, I get. Yeah, I know saying yes is what you want to hear, but if you want the reality, here's the reality. I'm going to give you the reality here. Let's see, where is? Okay, so let's look at AITX. With the share structure. Okay, how many outstanding shares, guys? Not even that? Okay, the outstanding shares of 10 billion. The float, what's the float? Let's round it up. 5 billion. Okay? Let's keep this number in mind. Float 5 billion. Okay, now let's pull up the chart here. Let's go to ATX. I was watching Ilis, seeing if it's gonna absolutely dump 50%. That's what it's looking like, at least. Okay, AITX. Let's look at AITX real quick. Let's look at how much volume we got on these big green candles, okay? Let's just look at the volume. It's simple supply and demand, my friends. Simple. So I rarely use volume. I rarely use it. But why is my volume indicator not working? Okay, there we go. Okay, let's look at this big green candle. How much volume? 168 million. How much volume in the next candle? 160. Whoops. Wait. Okay, 91 million followed by 168 million. And then the next day, 175. And then that was followed by 116. Okay, so not much volume. Here we got a huge amount of volume. Let's see, where's the 300? Look at that, 364 million in volume. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner, 364 million in volume. Million, by the way, not billion, million. That is incredible, incredible volume. That was followed by almost half a billion in volume. Most of that selling pressure, unfortunately. So you notice how the stock price, despite getting almost half a billion in volume, it really struggles to go pretty much anywhere. It really had a hard time breaking 1 penny. It did. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So you just saw half a billion in volume, but keep in mind the flow is almost 5 billion. Eyeless, on the other hand, I'm going to compare it to Eyeless. Eyeless recently made a move from 0076 to 118, 112 to be more specific, 1 2 on a whim. There was no catalyst here. None. There was no PR. They even made a whole PR video saying they're not gonna communicate. Really, that's horrible. Think about that for a second. Imagine being invested in something that doesn't even want to communicate with you, the shareholder. But this thing on a whim just moved like it was nothing. It just moved to 1 2. It broke above a penny like it was nothing. Like it was just butter. Like that level doesn't even exist to Eyeless. It just did it so easily because it has a lower float, much lower compared to that of AITX. Now let me show you one other example before I let you go. So this is the question. You want to see this go to dollars. You want to see this break 10 cents, 20 cents, etc., etc. But the share structure of AITX is much, much worse compared to that of back when it ran up in 2021. And in order for a stock to organically go to dollars, it needs the perfect setup of being a very low float and high demand. And because there's such short supply, well, the stock just absolutely skyrockets. And you can see ASNS dropped a hot PR. Look at the volume. Not much volume. No one really cares about it. It keeps trending down because that's what happens when people don't care about a stock. It just keeps falling. And then eventually, what happens here? Let's look at that. Let's look at the volume here. Whoa. What is this? Almost 100 million in volume? Almost 100 million in volume, and it had a huge gap up from 47 cents to a high of almost $5. This organically went from pennies to dollars. It went from 47 cents to almost $5 on huge volume. Why did that happen? Well, as I just showed you, there's just a massive, massive difference in public float and shares outstanding. Look at that. Million, by the way, not billion, million. So it does not take very much buying pressure, demand for this thing to skyrocket and organically move dollars. It doesn't. That one hot PR, if it got the kind of volume that AITX got, half a billion in volume, it would have could have gone. It could go to $50 plus easily. Again, because there's just so much demand and so little supply that it would just be an incredible run when you have that small of a float. Okay, so that's really the problem is AITX has way too big of a float, too many outstanding shares. There's so much supply that even if we get half a billion in volume, it's not going to skyrocket pennies, let alone gap up dollars like I just showed you with ASNS. And that's so yeah, that's my answer to that question. Do you see it going to dollars? Do you see it organically getting there? Nope, not happening. The setup isn't there for this to even do that. AAT, Steve Reinhardt would have to buy back. he would have to. He would have to get. he would have to buy. He would have to buy up the float or something. He would have to buy back the outs. Yeah, he would have to buy back shares, like a ton of them, by the way, which they don't have the money for. And he already said they're not going to be buying back shares anytime soon because they're focused on everything else. So it's just not happening. Anyone who tells you the ATX is going to go organically to dollars is lying to you. I just showed you why. Unless AITX is going to suddenly become, I don't know, unless suddenly tomorrow it gets 5 million, its float just drops to 5 million and its outstanding shares drops to 10 million or whatever. Unless that happens, and then we get a huge demand for the stock, it's just never gonna happen. It's not. That's the reality. It would have to have such a low float, such a low such a incredible share structure. This is the kind of share structure you need if you want to see this thing go to dollars organically. If not, it's just not going to happen. And if you look at AITX here, ooh, that's not AITX. AITX. If you look at AITX here and you zoom out, I mean, this thing has had big runs, but the furthest it ever got to was apparently $1.76. I don't think that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. Was that a reverse split or something? Because it gapped from 0001 to that doesn't make sense. That doesn't seem right. But when it had that huge run way back when, it ran up to what 42 cents, 40 cents. So it struggled to even break 40 cents back then. What makes you think that with a worse share structure, this is gonna be the one time? So anytime you see in the AXTX Discord, oh, this is it, this is the one time we're gonna go to dollars, we're gonna go to 10 cents, 20. That's not even 10 cents is unfathomable with this kind of share structure. And that is the reality. Again, we would have to get volume in the billions, and I mean tens of billions, in order for this to move. We got half a billion, and it was most, and it was just selling pressure pushing us down that day. Look at that, 497,684,551 in volume. So anytime you see anyone saying dollars, even 10 cents, I'm sorry, the setup is not there, and they're going to continue to dilute, and we know that. So it's only going to get even harder for this stock to make big volatile moves to the upside. It can run 300%. We've seen that happen multiple times, but you're never going to see dollars. You're just not going to see it gap up to $5, $3, like I just showed you on that one stock. It's just not going to happen. The only way this gets organically to dollars is, I mean, the only way it gets to dollars, period, is through a reverse split or merger or whatever. And that's the answer to that question. I know it was a little bit long winded, but I really wanted to make it a point that whenever you see someone talk about a penny stock going to dollars, just look at the share structure, and that tells you the story. If it's not a low float, it doesn't matter. It's even IBIS, who has a much better share structure compared to AITX. Even that one couldn't break 50 cents back then. Even that struggled to break 50 cents. Even that struggled to go to dollars. It's not a, it's anyone saying, anytime you hear someone say this penny stock's going to go to dollars or even 10 cents, they're delusional. And I hope you better just laugh with them and hope that they're joking because it's just not going to happen. It's not. And hey, if they prove me wrong, I would like to see that because within the next 2 years before the reverse, I shouldn't say reverse split. Within the next 2 years, a lot is going to happen. We're going to get the uplist as well in 2026, I believe, or they're just going to reveal the plans. But I unless nah, it's just not possible. I'm really trying to figure out: is there a way for this to organically go to? It's just not possible. It's not. It's not. And I'm sorry. I know some of you don't want to hear that, but I just showed you why. And we use logic here on this channel. It's just not going to happen. It's not. Even 10 cents. The more they dilute, the worse the share structure gets, the harder it's just going to be to even get 25 cents. So, anyways, what's the other question? Oh, the revenue run rate, the monthly revenue. Yeah, yeah. So my prediction for the monthly revenue is going to be, it's going to have to be over 1 million because they hit 1 million. Their first quarter, yeah, their first quarter, they reached 1 million. I believe they just came out with a PR today. I think that's an old PR though, but I think they're just putting it out again. Let me see if it pulls up. Where is it? Monthly recurring revenue increase of 380. So no, 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 that's not it. Okay, yeah, yeah, there we go. They announced their first ever quarter of over 1 million in total revenue. So their first ever quarter of 1 million, I'm predicting 1 million in monthly revenue by September. That I mean, if you're asking me to make a prediction like that, that is my prediction. Mainly because of how much, yeah, they have so much in the pipeline. They're, keep in mind their whole goal this year is sales. So if they're really gonna follow through on getting all those robots out there, and they even noted here, yeah, we still got a lot of revenue that's not being taken into account. So that's my prediction: 1 million. I think they're underselling and over delivering. I think that's what they're looking. I'm probably screwing that one up again, but you get the point. They're under delivering, no, underselling, and they're gonna over deliver. So I'm gonna go with 1 million. 1 million total every quarter. That's a pretty big number, but if they achieve it, I'm gonna look like a genius. But if they don't, I'm sure they'll be somewhere near it. I hope that would show huge, huge growth if they do that, if they accomplish that. So that is my answer to that question with regards to what my prediction is for the monthly recurring revenue. I could do the math for it if I knew how much they were charging for per month for use of their data, the robot or whatever, to connect to their server or whatever it is they're charging for. But I would have to do the math for each individual robot, and I'm sure they don't want to reveal how much they're charging, let alone who they're making the charges out to. So I don't, unless you know a place where I can get that data, how much they're charging for each robot per month, so I can do the math, then I could probably do the math. I could definitely do an estimate, a good estimate. But if I'm just gonna throw a random guesstimate, as you called it, a prediction, then I'm gonna have to go with 1 million. Just it's a nice round number. It's achievable, I'm sure. I believe it is achievable for sure. We'll get there. It's gonna take time, just like anything. So there you go. So we got some. I know this video wasn't that positive, because I know a lot of you just wanted to go to dollars and oh my god, we made a lot of money, yay! But I just showed you like, yep, it's kind of not how it works. It kind of it's with the dilution. The dilution is really what's killing us. It's going to continue to do so, and it's only going to make it harder for things to go uh, 300, 500, 8,000%, et cetera, et cetera. You want those big run ups, you just need to buy low floats like like ASNS, like the one I showed you. Just buy it, and then when it runs on a PR, it's gonna go gap up $1 or 3 or 7, 80%, 300%, and you can be happy that you made a lot of money real fast just sitting on it. But obviously, just as quickly as it can go up thousands of percentages, it can also drop 1,000%. So that's kind of like the downside to that. So I guess it depends on the individual and their risk and reward tolerance. Anyways, I've been talking for far too long. I need to go to sleep. Did not get much sleep. I'll see you guys in the next one.